I'm Liz Larson.
And I'm Bill McKenna.
And together, we created the Cognomovement system. And we'd like to welcome you to the New Life Perspectives radio show,
where we're going to be sharing with you tools, tips, and ideas that are going to change your life.
Hello, hello in UK Health Radio Land. This is Liz Larson and
Bill McKenna
here with the New Life Perspectives radio show. We're mixing it up today, and Bill's going to interview me. How fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got something important to interview you about, which is our new book. And Liz Larson has done such a tremendous amount of work on this and pulled it together. This book is very small. It is called The Tiny Book of Big Manifesting, and it's free. It's free on the website at cognomovement.com, and the thing is packed, loaded with discoveries and information that nobody knows yet about manifesting. I know that for the people out there that are listening to this show, you're like, I've heard all about the law of attraction and blah, 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 blah. Yes, right? Well, there is new information that you haven't yet discovered. Now, having said that, as I was told by one of my teachers, there is not one new thought under the sun. And these things that are in the book after this book actually was started being put into place, amazingly discovered that there were yogis, ancient yogis from India, who had also made these same discoveries. And they have to do with the utilization of your body and manifesting, and that I should stop, because if I get going, I'm going to take over the show. And this is, I really want to hear about, really, Liz, I think, is a reincarnated yogi, because she had basically reincarnated these discoveries that are mind-blowing, and they work. That's the big thing, right? Who cares, what you discover if it doesn't work in your actual life, right? What good is it? As I always used to say, I've heard about, in some of my trainings, your eighth chakra is very powerful. Your energy centers are very powerful. And I was like, oh, that's great. Well, what good is that to me? I don't, oh, it's powerful. Super. Well, if I don't know what to do with it, or I can't access it, it means nothing. Anyway, Liz Larson, tell us what happened. How did you discover this?
Okay, well, this is funny. I just want to back up for a minute. You were talking about how, this discovery had come from yogis. Well, I'd never heard about them before. And of course, there's nothing new under the sun. But this is what I want to say about our work in general, is we use all kinds of things patched together in brand new ways that work incredibly. So I think that is one of the things that is so unique about you and I. We have different backgrounds, and we are constant researchers and studiers. And everything we do, every piece of everything we do works to create change. That's always been super important to us. And this manifesting set is really no different. How it came to be was, and at the opening of the book, it's dedicated to For the Love of Asking Questions, because that is my life, asking the questions. I mean, if you were with me in my family, the words "I wonder" come out of my mouth thousands of times a day. In fact, my family make fun of me because I wonder what they're going to do with that. So really, that's how the thought process came together to combine the things we're using. And it isn't just one discovery. It's actually the use of the physical body, place cells in the brain, and the field outside of our bodies, which is actually just an extension of our bodies, that we use in concert, in combination, to create this amazing field, to magnify the field. The field's already been created, but we're using it in this very unique way. And that really is the discovery, because like you said, no, there's nothing new under the sun. But I was thinking about stuff, and we were finding with Cognomovement that people were walking out of a session and their whole life was different. Not just them. They say they feel like a different person, but all of a sudden people in their life were changed. Money would show up on their door. Real estate was deals were showing up. So of course I was curious about how in the heck is that happening? We were experiencing it in our own lives, you and I, doing a session and then having someone in our lives be immediately different, at least through our perspective. So I was curious about that. And I'm always studying. If you guys were with me in the bathroom every morning while I put my face on, I'm studying something every day. So I've been studying some things on Gaia, Randy Weitenheimer. I've been listening to Dr. Jerry Tennant. Bill had become very interested in him. I was listening to Vladimir Zealand. And all of these ideas, pieces of them started to float in that matched some of the things we were doing, bits and pieces about the field. So during COVID, Bill and I dug in. I mean, we just went to work every day, working with people online. We were doing free classes for a while. It's 7 days a week. Bill's still doing it 7 days a week. Bill was leading a session one day, and it was something, we'd done thousands of times. And during this session, and I share this in the book, I started to think about all these things that had been coming together in my mind about the physical fields, the brain, the heart, this field of potential around us, our place cells in our eyes, the draw that certain feelings have. And I wonder if I could actually find in my own field this thing that I'm thinking about. I mean, if the pattern in my body is creating a field, and that's the basis, the body and the brain, physical body along the nervous system, are traveling, light speed. I think it's light speed. Round and round, thought feeling that's creating an electromagnetic field. So where in that field might I find that item? And I thought if it's there, it's probably going to be physical. So I reached out, and dang it, if I didn't feel something right there. And that's where it all started.
That's amazing. Now, for people on the radio, they can't see her hands, right? She's talking about the discovery where she was curious is could I actually feel something I want to manifest with my hand physically? Could it be that it was actually in the air right around me? And she reached out with her hand, and she physically felt like this air jello, like a thicker part of the air that was a little bit warmer. And it was amazing because it was physical enough to feel with your hand. It actually had a weight to it. Now, when she described this to me, I was like, that's interesting. Well, I wonder if I have that too. And I ended up reaching out in the field, and I could actually feel it myself. Not only could I feel the thing to manifest, but I also felt things that would keep me from manifesting, meaning my fears, my concerns, my whatever negative feeling that I might have had, or somebody else's feeling about me in my field. It was all there. quite an amazing thing to actually feel it with your field. Now, the thing about this is that it sounds like hocus pocus, but today actual science has verified it. There's something called a magnetoencephalography. This is a device like an EEG, right? You put on a brain cap and you get these brain waves. You can actually measure brain waves with a cap on your head, right? Well, today this MEG that I just spoke about, the MEG actually is outside of you. The sensors are not attached to your head. The sensors are outside of you, and they can measure your thoughts outside of you and even map your brain with the sensors outside of you. It creates an energy field right outside the brain that's scientifically actually measurable. That electrical charge, that thought, is in your field. The amazing thing is that when you have these thoughts repeatedly, right, especially a strong thought and feeling, it becomes tactile. You can actually feel that tactily in your field. That's what Liz had rediscovered. It's amazing, amazing. I didn't know about this. I did an interview. Matter of fact, it's out today as we're filming on Gaia.com, and Regina Meredith, who did the interview of me.
Open Minds, the Open Minds show.
Gaia.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see this on Gaia. But she had said, hey, you know what? Actually, that's a Balinese technique. You know, the Balinese masters had figured this out too. So, as I say, there's amazing to find the other people who have made the same discoveries.
Well, lots of people work in the field. Even well, there's a lot of people who work in the grid and in the field. So we're certainly not unique in that part of it. But what we are, I think, unique in is like I said, the combination. And you were talking about the MEG and why for us the brain is so important. We've mentioned this many times that Cognomovement has been studied, via brain scans. What we know is that even in the brain scans, they can see past childhood trauma. They can see where the memories of the brain and difficulties in the brain light up. Our own brain scans show that. So I knew when I was messing around with this, and first of all, you kind of have to be a little bit of a mad scientist to be putting all this stuff together. But I knew that was true. That parts of our brain, as we move our eyes, access different memories, different spaces in the brain. And I knew that each of these things that we want also hold a place in our brain. So from our Cognomovement work, from the infinity work that we do with the eyes, I knew that we could move the eyes and access memories or feelings, emotions. So I wanted to see if we could move the eyes and actually access a thing that we wanted. And as it turns out, when we do that, we really activate the body. So now the body has a strong feeling, which we know has an electromagnetic field. And the mind has a strong feeling, which we know has a magnetic field. And now we know that those things combine in the field around us, or the field of potential. And the more that we feel that thing, the stronger that signal gets. It becomes what's called excess potential. I think Neville Goddard called it that. So that's what we're feeling in the field around us, is this excess potential. So what we do is we actually combine those three things and make that signal stronger or weaker. And like Bill said, eventually we found out that not only is that thing in your field have weight and mass and matter, but it also holds a potential timeline, which is super cool. So, what's a timeline? It's the direction your life would go if that particular thing happens in your life. So, we discovered a little later on, as we started to really play with this, that you could actually combine that feeling in your body, combine the place cell in your brain and the space in your field, and actually experience that timeline as though it were now. So now what we do is we decide, sometimes you think you want something and then you experience what that might be like and you realize, holy crap, you don't want that at all. It doesn't work out in the end. So then we knock it out of our field of potential. So with Cognomovement, we clear the path in the body. That's the most important piece. The brain body, we clear out that feeling. But then there's still this mass in your field. There's still this echo. And we knock it out of our field, clear or disperse the energy. So combined, it makes this really cool and very physical technique. It's super physical. We're using the body to create change in our lives, which is amazing. And it's not some weird woo-woo idea. It's actually using your physical body and what's natural about the way your own electromagnetic system works.
The thing I like about it is that, and the discovery is that how things manifest in reality. Everything goes from a concept or that you have this inspiration, shall we say, and then it becomes a thought. And then you visualize it or whatever, this is how it would look. And then you talk about it, you feel it. And this is the natural course that something takes through our physical body to go from thought to thing. And there's a downgrading process as things go from inspiration and thought to physical matter. This happens to follow the energetic pattern in our body, which is commonly referred to as a chakra. It goes from the top of the head down to the base of the torso. And this is something that we talked about in this book, the free book, the little book of big manifestations. Tiny book, the tiny book of big manifestations that is out. You can get it for free on our website at cognomovement.com. You can get the book, like I say, it's free there, and you can learn all about it. It's quite amazing. It can change your life. Also, if you're a Gaia subscriber, you can watch an hour interview there about it as well.
And you actually show that knocking things out of the field or finding it in the field, don't you, Bill? On the interview, show that technique. Yeah.
If you watch that Gaia.com, then you'll actually see the technique there as well.
You guys want to know something funny about the title of that book? Why Bill wasn't sure about it. So Bill went to film the interview with Gaia about the technique, but the book wasn't done yet. In fact, the outline and everything was there and we had plans for it, but it wasn't finished by any means. So Bill goes to Colorado and films the interview. And when he's done, he calls me. He said, "Hey, you want to know what the name of the book is?" And so he told me what the name of the book was, and that's what we went with. So that's how it got named. But it is a tiny book. I think it's 58 pages maybe, and that has a lot of images and graphs and things that you guys can look at and utilize and that kind of stuff. But it's a fun little book. There's no fluff. It's our stories of real people. Names have been changed to protect identities, but real people and the things they've manifested, which are incredible. And then also, we just provided the steps to change your life. And I'll tell you why it was important to me to do that. I have hated this whole manifesting game. Hated it. Because it was frustrating. So Think and Grow Rich. Great. I thought myself blue, right? write affirmations, change the way you feel. Well, if I could change the way I feel, I would have done it already, right? Okay, now vision boards. I would walk by vision boards and get more and more and more frustrated about what wasn't in my life, right? So the thing about manifesting was always the how. It was a great idea. The idea that I could change my life, so exciting. But most of the time I couldn't do it. I was just frustrated. Now we know that that sense of frustration just found its match with more frustration. I was literally sending the signal into my own field to match frustration. So what's cool about what we're doing now is we have absolute control over this thinking, feeling body with Cognomovement and the systems we've devised. We can delete those patterns, those habits, and those feelings, and we can stop that signal for what we don't want and create a signal for what we do want. So it's one of those things that you can do only every time. If you're willing to do the work, to really be honest about how you feel about something, about a manifestation, right?
Yeah. Now, you make a really good point there. And that is that all of us, we think about our manifestation, whether you want that perfect boyfriend, that perfect girlfriend, that car, that house, that move, that boat, that plane, whatever it is for you, that fame, what some people, everybody really measures success differently. For some of them, fame is your worst nightmare. I heard a line in a funny movie recently, and it was, "I'm offering you the poison chalice of money and fame." That just made me laugh because really, for some of us, that would be right, and I completely understand that. So everybody is a little bit different on what they consider uh, something that would be worthy of manifesting. One person's blessing is another one's curse. So uh, when we are thinking about something that we want to manifest, there's the most interesting part of this phenomenon of manifesting that came to light. And that was ultimately, if you have absolutely no fear of this thing manifesting, then it would have already been here. If there was absolutely no fear, it would already have happened. But in truth, we all have these secret little baby things that we have fear about.
I just wanted to interject something. I wanted to go back to something that you said as you move forward with what you're saying. That if you know something's going to happen, if it's just happening, it's natural. You don't have to think about it again. You don't have to worry about it again. It happens so much faster. And that actually, we discovered how to make sure that we had that feeling anchored in by something builded after we started playing with this. So how this works with us, you guys, is one of us will come up with a harebrained idea and share it with the other, and then we go to work. If it makes sense, if it works within our paradigm, we start practicing. We start noticing how it works. We start working with clients, and we develop the ideas around it. So Bill actually started to play with pulling the feeling. Once it got pulled back into the body, that's part of what we do. Once we decide on a timeline and decide if that part of the field is something we want, we were pulling it back into a spot in the body that matches. So you'll find that there's a place in your body that responds to this manifestation. But what Bill did is he started to move it with his knowledge of the chakras. He started to move it down into the first chakra, into that 3D, into the 3D world. And people started to say, well, I feel like it's just happening. I feel like it's already happened. And then it just happened. They didn't have to worry about it. They didn't have any frustration, right, Bill?
Yeah, the fear went away, and the most amazing thing happened uh, when the manifestation, that whatever the person wanted went through the physical body, meaning you imagined it going from the top of your head down all the way down to the base of your torso. When it got down to the base of the torso and stayed there, people had, as a visualization, people had this amazing experience. They would actually have these sensations in that part of their body, number one. And number two, they discovered that they felt completely different. It was no longer, I want this thing, I want this person, this situation. It was like, this is actually going to happen. This is me. This is part of my life. It's completely natural as breathing that this is going to be part of my life. And with that, the fear was gone, the anxiety around it was gone. People got all kinds of synchronicities and coincidences that all came about, and then the thing happened. Everything from, a brand new Porsche S4 to uh, the dream boyfriends, the house. There's houses that didn't sell for 10 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like, oh, you got an offer. It's like, what? It's been for sale for 10 years. 10 years, not days, years. So anyway, you name it, and it's happening. It's really kind of an amazing phenomenon.
You know what that is really, Bill? Well, Bill knows, but for everyone else, what it really is you're installing a new signal. We don't realize, but when we have a thought feeling that creates its own field, basically, we find the match to it is just drawn in just like an absolute magnet into our near vicinity. It's right there. But when we find and hone and tune, because that's a big part of what we do, we get really clear about what you do want. And then we see if these timelines fit, if they're really what they think they are, we think they are, if they're really what we want. And then, like Bill says, we pull them in, we pull them down into that root chakra. Now you've installed your very own beacon, homing beacon for that thing. And now it's just invited right into your field and right into your life. And that's why when people leave a session, a lot of times that thing has already changed. And the reason is because it's actually right there. Some things, Bill started to talk about baby manifestations, right? Was that what you were started to talk about, Bill?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I actually share a story about that in the book. Because instant manifestation is super gratifying, right? We all want instant gratification. But there are things that take a little time, like micro adjustments. And one of those stories I tell is about someone who had to do just that, had to do baby manifestations, because the thing that she wanted to create needed time for each thing to settle in and almost flourish a little bit, almost grow. And then a realization would come, oh my gosh, if that can happen, oh, now this can happen. Okay, now that can happen, now this can. So for that person, had the manifestation come all at once, she would have never accepted it, never in a million years. But because it was gradual and she manifested each step along the way, the outcome is bigger than she could have ever dreamed. So I think that's one reason why sometimes that's the way to go, these mini ones.
Yes. Now, the thing about that is that kind of like what we talked about earlier was simply the release of fear. Most often for humans, right? The release of fear happens a little bit at a time. I release my fear of whatever, just a notch at a time. And that is, to the degree that I can release that fear, is will the time frame speeds up. Now, we talked about something which is kind of a critical part of this discovery, which is what everybody's trying to get to. You've heard about when you manifest, you have to really feel it. You got to feel it, what you, as if it's now, and this process takes you there. You're no longer trying to fight your feelings with your thoughts. You actually just simply feel this way. And everybody says, you've listened to all the people talk about it, is you that the feeling is the magnet that draws the manifestation to you. We have the magic pill for you to create the feeling. This technique will create that feeling.
No, it's really true. And that's, I think, the biggest part is if people can understand that it's changing the how. It's the how. That's what's missing. Um, so is the how. It's always been the thing that's missing in manifesting is that, you ask and somebody out there gives it to you or bestows it. Almost like you have a fairy godmother, but you don't. Your physical body is your fairy godmother. Our universe just happens to work that way. It attracts things and repels things. And we don't realize, we think we want something like me and those vision boards. I wanted it, right? But every time I looked at it and that feeling in my body of, I can't have that, that thing's not going to work out. I don't know how that's going to work. I was repelling it. You know how you have magnets that are drawn together, and if you turn one side, it repels it like crazy?
Yeah.
That's what a physical body does. When you think of it, you want it so badly. And then, every part of your body says, I can't. But when we find these timelines, clear them out of our system, pull them back in, it's almost like laundering. It's manifestation laundering, Bill. That's what we're doing, like money laundering. And pull it back down. Now you've got this absolute clear signal that is an attractor. It's all about that. Would you guys like to try this on? You want to give this a try? I think you'll really enjoy it. So think about something in your life that you want or you've wanted for a while. And just notice how it feels. So here's what you do. You're just going to let your eyes kind of look downward. So don't close them, but look down a bit. And then just bring to mind something you've been wanting to create in your life. And specifically something you wanted to manifest if you're doing manifesting specifically. And just simply notice where your body has a sensation. Now, it doesn't have to be an emotion, just a sensation. Just notice it. Now, we were kind of talking about the chakras. And so what we're talking about here is the center line of your body. So like, is it in your gut, in your low back? Is it at your solar plexus? Is it in your heart area? Is it in your throat, in your head? Check your hands or feet. Just notice where your body sort of lights up in a way, and it can be positive or negative, about something that you want. Notice it. And just take a big deep breath and breathe into it, almost like you're welcoming it. Lots of times when it's a sensation that we're kind of in resistance about, you try to push it away. This time, breathe it in. So notice that thing and breathe in. Big deep breath. And just hold it and notice the sensation and breathe it out. Just notice with that one breath if it's a little bit different. So try again. Let your eyes drop and think about that thing again. And notice if it's changed. It may have moved in your body. It may have gotten bigger. It may have gotten smaller. Just notice if there's anything different about it and breathe in again. Hold it, notice that sensation in your body. It's that item, that thing you want to create, and let it out. Now notice if you're surprised that your body had a sensation. Maybe you just never noticed it before. So this time, I want you to move your eyes upward and think about that thing again. And now notice where it is in your body. Notice if the sensation in the body has changed. Notice if it moved. Maybe it moved up or down or into your arm or into your elbow. Just with your eyes up, take a big deep breath in and welcome it. Let it be there as much as it is. Just let it be there and let it out. Okay, one more time. Eyes up. Notice where that is in your body. Again, that thing that you want to create. Breathe in. Hold it and let it out. Now, just imagine that item, the thing you want. Again, let your eyes be just straightforward. Just think about it again like you're daydreaming about it. Notice the sensation. Notice what's different. Notice if it's moved. And now on purpose, see if you can move it down the center line of your body. So like if it's at your heart, move it down to the solar plexus. Big deep breath in. And move it down one more, down into your lower belly and out. One more big deep breath in. See if you can move the location of this thing down a little bit more. Take another big deep breath in. And move it all the way down like it's going to sit right between your hips, right in your pelvis. And just notice what it feels like there. So what are we doing with this? First of all, you're just noticing that your body really does feel something, have a reaction to things that you want. And you can tell if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. The other thing is you realize that you can start to change that. You can change it with your breath. When you notice what it is in your body, you breathe deeply because you're calming your nervous system. Now, normally when we want something and we feel like we're in resistance, it's uncomfortable, we kind of stop breathing. We breathe really shallowly. I'm not sure that's a word, but we breathe in a shallow manner. And then, our fight or flight kicks up. That's not what we want. We want our bodies to be generating these nice, calm, really confident signals that this thing's going to happen. So when you notice it and you're calming your breath, slowing your breath, you're telling the body, hey, we like this thing. We really calm down around this thing. Then when you move it down the center line of the body, when you move it, you're also kind of telling the body, this is not a permanent fixture stuck in this part of my body. And it's not a permanent negative sensation. So now that it's down there in that low part of your body, move your eyes up again and take a big deep breath in and see now if that sensation has changed. See if it just happens to be lighter or easier or freer. Just breathe in and notice. Big deep breath in, expand your belly, eyes up. And notice if you've changed your feeling around that thing you want to manifest. So that's just one little trick. So Bill now is going to show you another one. He's going to actually show you how to reach outside your body. And let's try that on. You can play with this stuff at home, guys. The thing to know is that none of these feelings in your body are permanent and none of them are really true. So you can make adjustments. You can change them and start creating for yourself. Okay, Bill, will you teach everybody how to feel it outside their body?
Well, so this technique here is where, let's say, for example, you have something, your number one thing that you want to manifest in your life, whatever that is. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got that one thing. Now, what you're going to do is you already know where this is in your kind of your field around you, like within 6 feet of you, it exists. If it was somewhere, where would it be? I'm basically going to count down from 3 to 0. And when you get to 0, you're just going to point to where it is. 3, 2, 1, 0. Point to where it is. You point to it. Okay. Wherever that is, just open your hand and feel right there in the air. Feel right in the air. Very, very slowly. Feel around in the air. Do you feel something that feels a little bit thicker there? It could feel hot, cold. You basically feel around. You can feel the left side of it, the right side of it. Feel underneath. You may even feel a bit of a weight. Very slowly. You're not thinking about it. You're thinking about the item that you want to manifest, but the actual sensation is with your physical hand. You can actually feel this with the hand. So just reach around and feel. It will feel kind of like air jello, like a light little air jello or something like that. Take this, imagine you're grabbing it right out of the field with two hands, and then pull it right down into the top of your head, and then pull it. Focus on this manifestation and continue to pull it down, down, down through the top of your head, through your head, down your neck, through the center of your body, and right down to the base of your torso. Keep focused on it as you pull down to the base of your torso. And when it gets there, notice if it wants to stay. If you feel like, it really pops up. It pops up. If it's popping up, that means that you have some fear. Wherever it pops to, ask yourself, why doesn't it want to stay down? What's my fear about this? It'll be something somewhat juvenile. Oh, well, if I get this, this money, then, maybe my brothers or sisters are going to try and take it from me, or asking me for loans or something, and I don't want to face that. Or, God knows what. If I do find this man, then I'm worried that they'll men cheat, and so obviously I don't want to get hurt, right? So letting go of all of these things of different fears, whatever the fear might be, and you push this right back down to the base, and when it stays there, you're good. You'll notice your feeling change. If this thing pops back up, you say again, what's the fear? What is the fear? And let go of the fear. As you let go of the fears, it will naturally descend. So that's the technique. Now that by the way, I'm abbreviating this for radio and just a little blurb for you here in the end. There's so much more to it. We have full-blown classes at cognomovement.com. You can come there. We even have some free Thursday nights at 4 p.m. Pacific time that you can actually see some of this stuff actually happen. Anyway, that's just a little freebie for you there, as we do on all of our shows. You can go back and listen to all kinds of freebies that we've given away and techniques that really work at the end of all of our shows. I believe they're recorded at UK Health Radio that you can access. And I look forward to hearing about your manifestations. Email me, email Liz, let us know. Send us a picture. Send us a picture of that new car, that new boyfriend, that new girlfriend, that new house, new boat, new car, whatever it might be. You on the cover of a magazine. Send us a picture. We'd love to see what happens for you.
Hey, so Bill, right before we go, we have about a minute left. I do want to share with everybody. If you're interested in this work, where you get started is come to the website. Become a subscriber. You'll get 2 free ebooks. You'll get Suffering is Optional, which is the Cognomovement story, and you'll get the tiny book of Big Manifesting, which really gives you the steps for how to change things in your lives. And then we highly recommend Cognomovement first. Cognomovement, you're going to get a major amount of manifestations just out of that, but you're going to learn how to get control over your mind-body connection, how to change patterns in your whole life. And then Cogno Quantum comes next, because it's the piece that actually helps you learn how to hone this skill of becoming the signal within your own body for absolutely anything you want, making sure you have the right signal, the clearest signal, and how to have that be as though it's just happening right now. You never have to worry about it again. So that's kind of the ladder for getting into the Cognomovement family. Well, the family, right? And we would love for you to come and experience those things. And like Bill said, reach out to us if you have questions. So that's all we have for today, Bill. So
All
join
right.
us
Thank
next
you.
week for more.
All right.
All right. See you then. Thanks for being here with us on the New Life Perspective radio show. For more information or to find out more about the work that Bill and I do, please visit us at cognomovement.com or email us at info@cognomovement.com. See you again soon.